God's blueprint for raising children. Yeah. God's blueprint for raising children. In a world that's losing sight of the truth that shines so bright, God has given us a way to guide our children day by day. Not by wisdom of our own, but by His word alone. A path of truth, a path of grace, to lead our children in His ways. Train up a child in the way he should go. Teach them the truth they need to know. With love and mercy, truth and light, God's wisdom lead them all aright. When the home is built on His command, our children grow secure and stand strong in faith, firm in love, raised by the wisdom from above. His word must dwell within the home, through every day and every moment shown. In walking, talking, all we do, we teach our children what is true. The home's the first and sacred school, where parents lead by heaven's rule. With hearts that teach and lives that bless, we guide them in His righteousness. Train up a child in the way he should go. Teach them the truth they need to know. With love and mercy, truth and light, God's wisdom leads them all aright. When the home is built on His command, our children grow secure and stand strong in faith, firm in love, raised by the wisdom from above. Discipline is not disgrace, it's love that moves at mercy's pace. For correction, firm and true, protects the heart, sweet guiding through. A child left free to live alone will stray from truth and lose their home. But love and discipline will show the wisdom children need to know. There is a wisdom from above, full of peace and grace and love. And earthly wisdom leads astray, with strife and confusion in its way. So many voices call out loud, but not all wisdom leads the proud. Only truth that comes from God can keep our children on the right road. Return to God's own plan, back to the Maker's perfect hand. With humble hearts and faithful eyes, we build our homes on holy lies. No holy truth that will not fade. The word of God is still our aid. Repent, restore, rebuild, renew. The Lord will help His people through. Train up a child in the way he should go. Teach them the truth they need to know. With love and mercy, truth and light, God's wisdom leads them all aright. When the home is built on His command, our children grow secure and stand strong in faith, firm in love, raised by the wisdom from above. God's blueprint still has not changed. His truth remains, His word remains. When families walk in His pure light, He turns confusion into right. So let the home return once more, to fear the Lord and honor Him forevermore.
Two so-called teen takeovers in 24 hours. A viral trend sweeping the nation, with massive gatherings organized online and unleashed on unsuspecting communities coast to coast, often turning chaotic or violent. In Tampa, police body camera video shows massive fights amid a teen takeover earlier this month. Here, you see the mayhem from above. Authorities say 22 people were arrested, as young as 12. Another brawl breaking out at this Chipotle in Washington, D.C. And outside Milwaukee, cars spinning out in this intersection.
22 people between the ages of 12 and 21 were arrested after chaos broke out at a teen takeover in Florida. According to the Tampa Police Department, a large group of teens and young adults gathered, causing significant disruptions, fights, and other issues. Officers responded to the takeover, which eventually spilled into surrounding streets, impeding traffic and endangering motorists. TPD made 22 arrests on a number of charges, while video released by the department shows a large number of attendees fleeing on foot.
Read the index card.
The deity had a premonition of the impending apocalyptic event. The deity had a premonition of the impending apocalyptic event.
Read the index card.
I'm a great reader. The deity had a promotion of the
She was a great reader.
I am a great reader.
Read the index card.
The written national identify in unusual aggressive parasitic infection.
What was that word?
Retronation.
I don't remember New Jersey ever looking like this.
Maybe Trenton.
Newark, maybe. On top of cars, you know.
Very disrespectful.
They're testing their boundaries, right? It's that same energy. Maybe I'll jump on a car. And then a stampede.
And then everyone stampedes.
And now police with the riot shields come because they got so out of hand. They're probably like, man, chill out. We won't even doing nothing. The stampede is the crazy part. Have you ever been in a stampede?
Not even close.
And I see one every weekend now. And here's the funniest part. Monmouth County OEM, Long Branch Beachfront curfew in effect, 5/19/26, 8 p.m. disperse area. The emergency alert system had to be used for just black people.
That's what they use for like a tornado or a hurricane.
A recently abducted child. Now we just get alerts say, beach is closed, black people.
Watch out.
Shalom. Most high in the name of Christ, bless you all. Welcome to another edition of the Body of Christ Church Presents. What we're going to deal with is somewhat of a trending topic, but it is an issue and a problem, and it's something that's been building for a long time. It's actually been engineered when you really look at it, what we're dealing with. And it all rolls back to understanding that the people of the book have to submit themselves to the wisdom of the Most High. For those of you that are listening to this class, I devised a pretty lyrics to a song that pretty much explain everything that you need to know about why these things exist, what's the root cause of them, and what's the remedy. So if you go back and listen to the show in the archives, listen to the song at the beginning and the end. So what we're dealing with is who's raising our children, right? The title of the class is Train Up a Child, What Happens When Society Rejects God's Wisdom. Saying that, I'm going to pass it over to my brother Josiah, the able-bodied co-host with me, to deal with this topic. Just initially, because full disclosure, he doesn't see the videos. He knows the title of the show and pretty much what the show is going to be about, but he doesn't see the videos, and he doesn't really know some of the things that I'm going to bring out. So I just like to get the spontaneous reaction just from viewing that video. What did you see in that video? Give me some of your thoughts, bro.
Well, I'm gonna have to go before the video, man, to that song. That song was fire.
All
Absolute
praises.
fire. I like that, man.
All praises.
So the video, I've seen this stuff on the news before, and it's never something that's comforting, entertaining. It's disgusting. And as I was watching the video, as you show one event after another, it made me a little bit sad, right? Because this is my people. These are my relatives. This is my family. These are our children, our young adults. This is the next generation in our community that's out there conducting themselves like this. But then as the video was concluding, you brought on the two radio guys, I guess they were.
Podcasters.
And they said something. Yeah, they said something was really funny. They said that they're calling out with the national weather alert or something like that on black people.
They're giving up.
So that brought me up a little bit, because that was a pretty cool joke there. But this, it's not a funny thing. It's not a funny thing, man. And people don't understand how this stuff is coming about. And the title of this show is very much appropriate for how it came about, because it has to deal with the lacking of training. And one of the reasons why there's a lack of training is because the family structure has been broken down, practically destroyed. And without that family structure, the training for children has been compromised, right? That family structure primarily is composed of a mother and a father and a child, right? That's primarily, but that's expanded on to grandparents, to aunts and uncles, to cousins and so on and so forth. And then
Mm-hmm.
you got community members that are friends and all that stuff.
Right.
You hear the old adage, it takes a village to raise a child.
Right.
We don't have that in a lot of instances, in way too many instances. It's not everybody, because there's plenty of intact families still around, but that divorce rate, the rate of single mothers raising children, I think is somewhere around 50% now. 50% of children in our community are being raised by single mothers.
Right.
That's way too much.
Right.
And it's any amount of it is too much. A woman should not have to raise children by herself. There should be someone else in the community, men in the community, that is consistently involved in those children's lives to make sure that they get what they need.
Right. Exactly. So I made a statement, and I'll keep reiterating the statement. These things have been engineered, right? So the results are what the expected outcome should be. So none of these things are happenstance. And I'm gonna show you why real quick. I want to go to two scriptures starting out. Go to 1 John 5, read verse I believe it's 19. 1 John 5, 18 or 19 one. I'll tell you when I get there. Because this just came to me. Yeah, 18 and 19. 1 John
Okay.
5, 18 and 19.
This is the book of 1 John chapter 5 and verse 18.
Mhm.
We know that whosoever is born of God sinneth not, but he that is begotten of God keepeth himself, and that wicked one toucheth him not. And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness.
So the world that we live in is immersed, filled with, move on the vibration of Satan, right? Because none of these systems, whether they be political, church systems, that economic systems, whatever, they do not operate according to the will of God. Therefore, they operate according to the rule of Satan. Communism, socialism, capitalism, whatever you name, um, republic, constitutional republic, as so-called this
Monarch,
country. You know,
monarch.
exactly, right. So monarchs, all these things, right? They're not designed based on the operation of God. So they're operating under the realm and understanding and wisdom of Satan. Let's prove it. Go to James 1. Let's read. We're going to go back to these scriptures probably throughout the class, but let's go to James 1 and let's read something that James 1 says. James 1, 13 through 16, bro.
This is the book of James chapter 1 verse 13. Let no man say when he is tempted.
I'm sorry.
I
I'm
am
sorry. James 3. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. James chapter 3 and verse 13.
Mhm.
Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter envy and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. For where envy and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work.
Read on.
But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy.
Stop right there. So, if the world was running or devised around working in the will of the Most High, and the things and societies were set up that way, what you would see is what we look at in this verse in 17. The wisdom that is from above is pure, peaceable, gentle, easy to be entreated, full of mercy, good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. So even if you deal with the false narrative of the triangle slave trade, right? If you deal with that, we know truly a lot of the people that were enslaved were, you could say, prisoners of war. They were already here. They were indigenous to this place, as indigenous as they call it. However, you devise a lot of programs to do what? Disenfranchise the base, right? the people that were here that you conquered, right? Then you continue those programs, even feigning at some kind of liberty, like Emancipation Proclamation, right?
Hmm.
They still had control over the masses of the people that they said were deemed slaves or Negro, right?
Yes.
It was points where Plecker, the first head of the vital statistics in Virginia, came up with a program that continued throughout the country, that plan about reclassifying people based on these constructs of race, right?
Right.
All these things were done to devise evil plans and plots against a people. And then when the results of those evil policies and plans, redlining, disenfranchisement, right?
Hmm.
Poor schooling. We saw a clip of that. You got grown people, a lot of predominantly inner city school dwellers, right? Or participants, can't even read. And they're still being promoted. I got good friends that's in education all levels. And they're talking about it. You know, even when I was up north before I moved down south, I still have friends all in education. And they're talking about the system is devised for failure. So now when you get the results of these things, then you had the war on poverty. A lot of the programs that came out of that was anti-family. So you got you mentioned it, the breakdown of the family. You got these kids, especially in the inner cities, with the welfare program, the no man in the house policy that caused that. Then you add crack epidemic on that.
Yes.
Now, the
Yes.
resulting
Absolutely.
the resulting things that come from that, and the people most ill affected had nothing to do with any of those policies and promoting them. They were being engineered. This is what they call it social engineering based on social science. And science is nothing but satanic as we know it. There is a science to all things that's done, righteous science based on the Most High, His creation, and the way He makes it works, the rules He set forth. There is a science. But what we know as science is very satanic, right? Especially when you get into social sciences, because it's nothing but a bunch of engineering. So when you look at the way the world operates, the Bible is telling us it operates right now. That's why Christ is going to come back and have to establish His kingdom, because it operates based on what 1 John 5 says, the whole world lieth in wickedness, mainly because of what James 3 says, that when you deal with the right wisdom of the Most High, you show it through your examples. So you can see the fruits of right wisdom, right?
Right.
And
That's
when
right.
you're not, what does it say? It says the wisdom from on the earth is what? Excuse me. But if ye have bitter envy and strife in your hearts, glory not and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, and devilish. Look at politics. A bunch of lying, envy, and strife.
Horrible.
All these
Horrible.
wars going on. A bunch of killing, murder, envy, contention, and strife, right? This
Don't
is
forget
how
about the
the,
line.
huh?
Don't forget about the line when it comes to those wars.
No, exactly. All the propaganda and the lying and all the stuff that comes up, all this is just based on what? Not wisdom from above. It's based on the wisdom of the devil. That's what it is. That's the world we live in. Some people don't understand that. Some people think we live in and we got a good life, or this world is just beautiful. America is great. Even you get these foundational guys that white guys say, "Oh, we founded this country, we built this country," lying to them
Hmm.
damn self, and they believe that, right?
Hmm.
And my question is, well, you ain't been no real good stewards of this country. The water's polluted, the air's polluted, right? The food supply is polluted. The country is decaying from within. So you haven't been good stewards. You need to put a
Morality is
bag
gone.
on your head if you claim that you are the engineers and the main, movers of the way this society is, right? See, because what happened under your watch? You're the greatest thing since sliced bread. Your forefathers built this country. What happened? Hmm? And then you complain about the results of the evil that's been done to people and the things that happened to them. Now, the remedy is here, because what did the Most High show us just through the two verses that we went? When you deal with the Most High, you know you're not sinful and you're not dealing with the wickedness. 1 John 5. When you're dealing with the wisdom of the Most High in James 3, what is it? But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. So none of the evil that's going on in this world and the way it operates will touch or have any harmful effects to you if you're dealing with that mercy or understanding of the Most High, right? That's what we have to first understand. But we know the world is full of lies and is corrupted. That's why this world, just like the world during the flood, is going to be destroyed. Period. There is no way out of the destiny that the Most High determined. Daniel explained it very clearly in his book. He gave you the history of the world, how it was set up, where it went to evil and why, and we're going to touch on some of that, right? You got something that you were holding, bro?
No.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, so now let's go to Jeremiah 11 real quick, and I want you to read several, because this sums up a lot of what we're dealing with right now. Let's go to Jeremiah 11.
Okay.
Start at 1, and I want you to read all the way down to 11.
All right. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 11, and verse 1. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, Hear ye the words of this covenant, and speak unto the men of Judah, and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and say thou unto them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, Cursed be the man that obeyeth not the words of this covenant.
Stop right there. Stop right there. So let's get a clear understanding. He's dealing with one nation of people. The people that come from that Genesis 10 chapter that no one likes to deal with, they want to come up with these constructs of white, black, Asian, West Indian, American Indian, British, garbage. No one wants to deal with Genesis, the 10th chapter, because that's where every people, every individual, I was going to say a Marine Corps term, but that would be too crass. Everybody comes from those nations devised these constructs to deal with the construct of racism, black and white, black versus white, or what do you call it, xenophobia. It's just constructs because the very things that they're using to push these things are constructs, right? You made up black, you made up white, you made up these designations of Arab and this, or so on and so forth, right? So that's garbage. But when you look at it, purely the Most High knows what he set up and what he devised and the nations that are on the planet, right? Don't care. It don't matter how much you mix. He knows. So here he's talking directly to the children of Israel. And what he's saying to them is, you're going to get cursed if you don't follow and obey the words of my covenant. We already know they didn't, but let's continue on though. Read.
This is Jeremiah chapter 11 and verse 4,
Mhm.
which I commanded your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt from the iron furnace, saying, Obey my voice and do them according to all which I command you, so shall be my people, and so shall ye be my people, and I will be your God, that I may perform the oath which I have sworn unto your fathers, to give them a land flowing with milk and honey, as it is this day. Then answered I and said, So be it, O Lord. Then the Lord said unto me, Proclaim all these words in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, saying, Hear ye the words of this covenant, and do them. For I earnestly protested unto your fathers in that day that I brought them up out of the land of Egypt, even unto this day, rising early and protesting, saying, Obey my voice. Yet they obeyed not, nor inclined their ear, but walked every one in the imagination of their evil heart. Therefore I bring upon them all the words of this covenant, which I commanded them to do, but they did them not. And the Lord said unto me, A conspiracy is found among the men of Judah and among the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers and refuse to hear my words, and they went after other gods to serve them. The house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant which I made with their fathers.
Okay, stop. So what
Yes.
we're looking at is the curse, right? But what is it based on? Is it based on the forefathers, or is it based on the children turning back to deal like the forefathers did and started telling the Most High to kiss their backside, serving other gods and systems and political entities and church, evil devised church systems and religions and so on and so forth, like the forefathers, right? This is what people
Yes.
all see, because we're not paying for this. We don't pay for the sins of the fathers. No, it's not that you're paying for the sins of the fathers. It's that you're doing the same damn thing the
Yes.
fathers were
The
doing
same thing.
till
And
this
worse.
very day that he was warning you not to do. That's what this is saying. So I wanted you to read that long part to get to understand this context. Excuse me. They are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers, which refused to hear my words, and they will, after other gods to serve them, the house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which I made with their fathers. So now, if children were taught, as our people were taught, to deal with the understanding and instruction and the wisdom of above, will we be even talk about teen takeovers? Will we even talk about these guys, commentator, podcasters saying, oh, they all need to be locked up and arrested? They only make up 5% of the population. Let's just round them up and lock them up. When the stew, like, okay, you cook just as well as I do, right? We're both good cooks. When you're making a stew, right, don't you have the authorization and authority on how that stew is going to turn out?
Yes.
You're going to grab the
It's
ingredients, you're going to put the ingredients in there, you're going to mix it, and how it comes out is directly how you devised it to come out. That's why these social engineering programs are not happenstance. They're devised through the will of Satan to directly come out. When they came out with the no man in the house policy with welfare, and they pushed a lot of that, and we accepted it like the fools. See, that's the fools we are. We continue in the what? Pattern of our forefathers, accepting the trinkets and the evil devised plans from the nations and their policies, and it's nothing but destructive to us. But shame on us for accepting it and turning our backside to our God and telling him to kiss, right? A lot of people are looking at this, and it might so blind it, and that's another point, part of the curse that we're going to read. So when we continue in that mindset and those practices, the curse that he talked about um, in verse 3 is going to stay on us. That's what it is. So read 10 and 11 again, bro. 10 and then 11.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go somewhere else. Go ahead.
All right. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, chapter 11, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
They are turned back to the iniquities of their forefathers, which refused to hear my words, and they went after other gods to serve them. The house of Israel and the house of Judah have broken my covenant, which I made with their fathers. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them.
Okay, stop. So a lot of our people are caught up in this construct of racism, right? It's not the white man or the racist man, whoever they might be. It's your God that's doing these things, right? Causing these things to happen to get you to turn once and for all back to him, so he can fulfill his promise of being our God, so that we can once again be his people. But as long as you, in a corrupted country, claiming you're going to get justice in a corrupted legal system and a corrupted political system, you the biggest dupe and dope on the planet, right? Because I guarantee you, when this constitutional republic was being established, people that look like me and you weren't in it. It wasn't for us. How are you going to get some kind of solace out of that? And the only reason that the power was given to these people is just what we just read in verse 11. because the Most
Mhm.
High was going to do it to us for us turning our backside to Him. He said it throughout the scriptures, and it didn't stop because Christ said it. These are the days of vengeance, Luke 21, right? Flee out of this place because this temple that you praise is done, and it's going to be a great harm that's going to happen to the people of Israel. Luke 21:24, he says, and Israel shall fall by the edge of the sword and be led captive into all nations. And when I'm saying Israel, I'm not talking about the lie, the perpetrators, the Eastern Europeans call themselves Ashkenazis or Sephardic, the lie that you've accepted because you've been destroyed for following other gods and other systems and other things, looking from solace from that and not turning to your God. That's the problem. So racism is the construct and the emotional crux, especially in this country, because I'm getting it's really troubling to me looking at our people all racist and crying to the racists for relief. What sense does that make?
Makes no sense at all.
You know, I go ahead. Go ahead.
Here's someone that hates you. They hate you. That's you know they hate you. They proved it because they've harassed you. They killed your uncles. They have hung your grandfather. They've done all these things to you and your family and your relatives and so forth. But then you're going to go to them to get relief. You think they're going to give you relief? Absolutely not. They're not giving you relief.
Right.
What they're going to give you is something that's going to appear like relief. It's going to be a Trojan horse is what it's going to be.
Exactly.
It's going to be a Trojan horse. So they're going to give you something that appears to be relief, but somewhere in there, it's going to be destruction for you. So this what you're talking about right now, bro, is what happened in the 1960s
Yes,
with
sir.
all these civil rights. You know, you got the welfare system that came in that would not allow men to be in the families to get the assistance, right? So now this led the way into this is one of the things that led the way into the breakdown of our family structures. Prior to that time, Black families, the marriages were more intact than white families.
Exactly.
Prior to that time, right? But after that time, you know, it just slowly eroded away, and it continues to erode away. It hadn't stopped.
Exactly.
You know, I mentioned 50% earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Single mother-led households.
You said what?
I said 50%.
No, bro, it's way higher than that, bro. It's near 80.
Okay. All right. So I just wanted to be clear with the audience about that I'm just kind of pulling that number out of the top of my head, because I know it's really bad. But you say it's 80%. So I'm not surprised by you telling me 80%, but you know, I can't remember what the statistics are on that, but I know it's really high. So this is the erosion of something that's precious in raising children, and that is that family structure, that husband and the wife being in the family to raise the children. And there's some instances where one of the other may not be available, right?
Right.
Because of death or whatever. You know, somebody has to go to war. They've gone to war for who knows how long, right? In those instances, there should be other people in the community that are pulling together to take up the slack. But that's not happening.
Right.
That's not happening because we're so fractured. You have neighbors that can't get along with one another. They hate one another. You know, you call them frenemies and all this kind of stuff. You know, and earlier you mentioned, you know, this is nothing but Satan coming at you.
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
how is it Satan? How is it Satan? Well, you just said it right here in Jeremiah, in chapter 11, verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them. So how is it then that the Lord is bringing evil upon them? Let's go to Job chapter 1, and let's take a look at verse 8. All right, so this is Job being tempted of Satan, and he's gonna experience a calamity as a result of this temptation. Let me pick it up at verse 6, actually. So this is Job chapter 1, verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down it. So now Satan is in the earth, and Satan is also there when the sons of God present themselves before the Lord, right? So he's there. And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job? There is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. So now, if Job is a perfect and upright man, and he feared God and escheweth evil, guess what he's doing? He is obeying God.
Right.
He is living according to the laws of God.
Mm.
Then Satan answered the Lord and said, Does Job fear God for nothing? Is he doing this for no reason at all? And the answer is no, he's not doing it for no reason at all. Job is fearing God because Job knows what's going to happen if he obeys. And Job knows what's going to happen if you disobey. So what did Satan say? He says, Hast not thou made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. Put forth thine hand now and touch put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power, only upon him put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. So now we see an example here in a microcosm of how this thing works. When the Most High gives a decree that Satan can get at you, then that's what's going to happen. He's going to get at you. If he don't give that decree, Satan can't get at you. So now here's Job, a righteous man, obeying God. Satan can't get at him because the Most High is blessing him. He's got a hedge around him. The same thing with Israel in that covenant. Satan can't get at Israel as long as Israel is obeying. But now, when Israel is disobeying, now the other part of that covenant kicks in, which has to deal with the curses, right? It automatically kicks in. There's nothing have to be said about it, but here's the Most High, being the merciful God he is, he's coming and bringing warning, prophet after prophet after prophet, bringing warning all the time, telling you this needs to change. You got to change. If you don't change, the other part of this covenant is going to kick in, and you ain't going to like it. So that's what happened. It kicked in. And today it is still kicked in. And
Exactly.
we're still experiencing those same things.
Right. And that's exactly right. Because Jeremiah, one place, 11 and 11 tells us. Now, go to Lamentations real quick on this point that you're talking about. It's kicked in. Go to Lamentations, let's read 5 and 7. Lamentations, because I like this, it says it very plain and simple to show you that it's not just one-offs. Read 5 and 7, bro, please.
This is the book of Lamentations, chapter 5, verse 7. Our fathers have sinned and are not, and we have borne their iniquities.
How did we have borne their iniquities? Jeremiah said it, because we're doing the same thing that they're doing. And it's actually that definition that they like to say, what is insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results.
Right.
You're going to get the same results because we have the record. Why do we have this Bible? One of the main reasons we have this Bible is for our edification, right? Our reproof and correction in righteousness. So we can look at our foreparents, even if we give a damn about who our foreparents is, because there is no forefather of black. Who is the forefather of black? It's a construct.
Right.
Genesis, the 10th chapter, is where we understand we come from in our forefathers, right? Because that's the table of the nations that the Most High established. So that is not done away. Like that search you've been trying to deal with that told you Esau is just annihilated. He just disappeared.
Right, just disappeared.
It just
not
disappeared.
around anymore.
Right. So,
Whole nation.
yeah. So when you look at it, right, our fathers sinned, and we got the record of it coming from Genesis all the way through. Even Christ was using examples about which one of the prophets you didn't kill. Right? Stephen said, bro, y'all just the same rebellious people. Y'all been rebelling from day one. Right? Your forefathers were doing the same thing because we rebel. And you might not look at it as rebellion, but it is. When you claim you serving God and you worshiping the devil. not knowing or not even considering that you sitting in a Baptist, a Pentecostal church, or a Catholic church, or whatever. Those systems have nothing to do with the Bible. And then you do the most abominable thing. You worship another people that have nothing to do with the God that we supposed to serve in the Bible, who show you that they're servants of Satan with their Talmudic observances and their view of Christ and Christians. And you place them and say, oh, they're God's people, right? These are the things you do, and you wonder why you suffer the things you suffer. Because our fathers sin and are not. And we have borne their iniquities because we're in a lot of ways worse than them,
Yes.
right? Because when they were doing these things, they had more of an understanding of the nation being intact until 2 Kings 17 when they started getting moved and spread around a lot, right? You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So this is the problem with the people that need to pay attention. Now, he said in Jeremiah 11, verse 3, he's going to curse us. A lot of times people run to the book of Deuteronomy 28, but let's show you the biggest point of the curses. Let's go to Deuteronomy 29. This is the biggest part. The biggest part of Deuteronomy 29. This is why I'm going to play a video and show you why this works. Read Deuteronomy 29, read verses 1 through 4, please. Now,
before we do that,
go ahead.
Can I interject a point?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Okay. So there have been many people in our community that have looked around and see the distresses and the oppression and so on and so
Right,
forth.
right.
They have been grabbing at solutions, suggesting this solution, that solution. Some of the solutions they come up with is we need to march for it, right? We need to vote for it. We need to build more recreation. We need more jobs. We need this, we need that, and the other, right?
Right.
So now how is it that at a time when those things weren't in place in 1920, 1930, 1940, those things are not in place, but the family structure is more intact and you don't have all the stuff that we got going on now with all the depravity, the moral depravity. You know, how is it? So do you think that somehow it's a better thing now that we are able to eat at the same lunch counter with white folks, that we are so much better off? Look at the video you showed leading the show off.
And I got more.
That is a clear demonstration that we're not better off because this is the generation to come. Look at what they're up to. Look at the education. We improved education wise? Is that an improvement over where we were in 1920, 1930, 1940?
Nope.
That does not demonstrate an improvement. You know? So it doesn't make any sense to keep trying those things when we were better off without those things decades
that we're
ago.
trying. Exactly. And that's a beautiful point. So we look at like the understanding of these people, right? And a lot of people get lost on this concept because the world, you've accepted your understanding from this corrupted world, the educational system, especially in America, the news in America, especially propaganda, right? Political systems, propaganda, it's all being what? Ruled and guided through the wisdom of this world, which is satanic, right? That nothing that these people do and say, I don't care how many times they quote the Bible or tell you they go to church on Sunday, whatever, or they're Christian. Look at the fruits because that's what James tells you. That the fruits of the wisdom from above, you can see it and understand it based on its what? Intreatable wisdom and peace and so on and so forth without hypocrisy, right? That's what you have to understand about this book. It means what it says, and it says what it means. You have to get out of your own head, disconnect from the concepts and constructs of this wicked, perverted world, and connect to this word because it gives you the understanding. But let's show you why these things work and they're so effective with the people of the book, especially. Read, see, people like to deal with this whole thing, especially these Israelite brothers out there. Deuteronomy 28, see the slavery, and da da da. But they missed this valuable point about the curses. Read Deuteronomy 29. Read 1 through 4 because it'll come out.
Okay. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29 and verse 1. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them in Horeb.
So now remember, this is fresh off of him explaining, if you follow my word, great things are going to happen, blessings. If
Right.
you disobey my word, evil is going to follow you, curses. Right?
Right.
Continue on, bro.
And Moses called unto all Israel and
Oh,
said
hold
unto
on.
them,
No. He called the whole world.
Nope.
Because this is for
And
everybody, right?
Moses called unto all Israel and said unto them, You have seen all that the Lord did before your eyes in the land of Egypt unto Pharaoh and unto all his servants and unto all his land, the great temptations which thine eyes have seen, the signs and those great miracles. Yet the Lord hath not given you an heart to perceive, and eyes to see, and ears to hear unto this day.
So why? Because the hearts of the people were not worthy of it, right? Because remember, this is a recap, right? The book of Deuteronomy is a recap of the time that they spent in the wilderness before they're going to inherit Jordan.
Right.
They're still a corrupted people, and we know the rest of the story. They didn't even get in the land good, which was told to them in Deuteronomy. Before you get in the land, you're going to utterly corrupt yourselves. Why? Because their heart, ears, and mind were not able to see and understand. That's the biggest part of the curse that we really don't get, and we're still under that curse. You have to be able to humble yourself to lift those blinders off. Because now, it says, yet, do me a favor, give me Proverbs 20 and 12. It says, Yet the Lord hath not given you an heart mind to perceive. That's where perception starts. And eyes to see and ears to hear unto this day. What is our biggest problem and what is the biggest curse? Right? And this is the thing we have to understand. Read Proverbs 20 and 12, please.
Proverbs 20 and 12. The hearing eye and the seeing eye, the Lord hath made even both of them.
So who created the hearing eye and the seeing eye? The Most High God. Doesn't he have total operational control and understanding of how they work? Right?
Yeah.
So he can do things to us to turn those things on and off at his will and pleasure. When we're worthy, he gives us what? Sight to see and ears to hear.
Right.
When we're unworthy, he closes those eyes and gives us what? Dull, makes us dull of hearing. And that's what
thing.
we have to deal with to perceive. So the mind cannot process that which can't be what? Taken in, right? So if you're not hearing it and seeing it, you can't process it. That's the biggest problem that we have in this world now as a people. Our ears are closed and our minds are shut off because our eyes and ears are closed. And it's all in the control and hand of the Most High, right? Now, I said this, but now let's look at something, right? Because we're dealing with getting to this thing. And I got some more videos I'm going to play. And as we get in, I know you're going to have more commentary. Go to Matthew 13. Let's look what Christ said. Let's read verse 14 and 15. This all connects based on what we started in Jeremiah. It all connects. The curses and all these other things, right? Read what Christ said about it in Matthew 13, 14, and 15.
All right. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 14. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, By hearing you shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing you shall see, and not perceive. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them.
So let's look at the operative part about what Christ was bringing out about this control that the Most High puts on the eyes and the ears, right? The operative part, it says, for this people heart, meaning mine, is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing. Why? And their eyes they have closed.
Yes. Thank you very much.
That's the operative part of this understanding.
You're doing it to yourself.
Just,
Don't blame God. You know,
Exactly.
it is your choice. He's giving
Exactly.
you a choice.
Right. And now you're looking around at the destruction of your disobedience, but you can't even conceive or perceive that is based on you and your behavior and your actions and deeds on why the
Mhm.
destruction is here, right? Why is social engineering so effective with our people? Why do we just take a trend and do anything? I remember when I was looking at it, right? And, I was kind of blind to it. And then I started seeing, I was kind of late to social media based on really paying attention to it other than doing classes. That's all. Hey, this is another medium to put the word out. But then I started noticing these things on the social media, how social engineering work. They can push you to do anything. It was this one I saw, and I showed it to my wife. It's called the condom challenge, where you had a lot of our people taking a condom, sucking it through one nostril and pushing it out the other nostril, and whatever they was doing. And the challenge of walking up crates. That's all based on social engineering, right? Why? Because our minds are closed to the wisdom of the Most High because we close our eyes and ears. We don't want to hear that word. We say things, well, if that's the God that punished me like this for my disobedience, I don't want to serve that God. Not my God.
That's right.
Not my
That's what
Jesus.
happened.
Not my Christ.
That's what happened.
You think that you're going to get any kind of understanding and wisdom of why things are the way they are and what's going on. So let me play this video, though.
That's
I know
pride.
you're gonna exactly. It's serious pride.
That's pride. In order to serve God, you got to have a decent amount of humility. You got to lower
Exactly.
yourself
Right.
and listen and look to Him
Right.
to show you the way.
Right. So when you look at this, right, why is this what I'm about to play so effective among our people? And you're going to be able to relate because it was about time of because of our age, about our coming into our age and understanding of how
Mhm.
things work, and these were the things we were affected by.
Did you know 1968 didn't just change America, it flipped Hollywood's entire strategy? That was the year the old censorship rules died, the Hays Code. And right when integration was finally happening, movies suddenly changed who they targeted and how they told stories. Before that, Hollywood said crime couldn't pay, and families stayed intact. Sex was limited, violence was restrained. But after 1968, criminals became heroes. Broken homes became normal. Violence became entertainment, and hypersexualized characters flooded the screen, especially in Black and Latino stories. Many believe this shift was meant to counter rising young Black activists who were building schools, feeding families, and filling gaps in their communities, while faith leaders and sellouts looked the other way. Former industry insiders have admitted this wasn't accidental. Hollywood quietly moved from controlling morality to shaping culture, flooding marginalized communities with images of crime, chaos, lust, and dysfunction, and calling it realism or representation. And here's what makes it hit home today. Whole communities are now so desensitized that real-world action feels impossible. And when someone does try to organize, they're often condemned, especially by the Christian church. So the real question isn't whether Hollywood changed in 1968. It's this: were people being set free, or was the script rewritten to keep control? Did you know 19...
So you said it in the 60s, this thing started flipping. But do
Mhm.
you see, now let me ask you this. Any of those kids running in the street acting like wild banshees on a teen takeover? Or matter of fact, let me play the video and I'll ask you a series of questions. You saw what happened, and that's basically based on social engineering. That's that perverted pseudoscience they say, but it's satanic, right? All the movie houses and all this stuff and all these social programs and all these things pushing these things on certain people. And because our ears and eyes and mind are closed to the will of the Most High, we sucked it up like what? A sweet thing to eat, didn't we?
Like it's
Huh?
a milkshake.
And look at
Yeah.
what you're dealing with now. But did we design any of those programs? No. It was all satanic and it was all
Mhm.
evil, but because we have no defense, because of our stubbornness and our rebellion and our closing our eyes to hear the words of our Father who art in heaven, we succumb to it. And now we're being looked at as the what? Gazing stock, the problem of all things in creation. Because we got this horde of individuals with no discipline, no guidance, no understanding, instruction of the will of the Most High, just doing all kind of despicable, evil things. But let's look at this, right? Let's look at something. I want you to look at this and see if this is something that we created or we're just participating in, because the creation of this is purposeful.
Read the index card.
The deity had a premonition of the impending apocalyptic event. The deity had a premonition of the impending apocalyptic event.
Read the index card.
I'm a great reader. The deity had a promotion of the impending catalytic event.
Thought you was a great reader.
I am a great reader.
Read the index card.
The written national identify in unusual aggressive parasitic infection.
What was that word?
Retronition. The mean academic and visual. But you can't make me think of words. The etrocordonal restriction they add to perfectionist preference.
He didn't say his name, so I thought I was getting jumped, but I wasn't. I looked behind, it was a car. Then I tried to stop. Then he just caught me. So
now the first thing you should notice, and I'm sure you did notice, is that the teen takeover suspect can't even speak English. He does not have the capacity to use language to communicate ideas. And this is not just a matter of a kid using slang. Slang has existed forever. This is a kid who can barely communicate in any language at all. I mean, you've heard of people who speak one language and people who are bilingual or even trilingual. This kid is no lingual, and he's not alone. You know, one of the reasons that toddlers have temper tantrums is that their language skills are not advanced enough to convey their emotions any other way. They can't tell you what they're feeling or what they want, and so they just freak out, partly out of frustration at their own inability to communicate. And I think part of what's happening now is we have teenagers and adults with a similar problem, which is not to excuse it at all. But when it comes to excuses, you know, notice what the excuse is that we're hearing. They don't even deny that he resisted arrest. They're just saying that, well, the officer should have been more gentle in dealing with it. And this is what we so often hear from the parents, or in this case, the grandparent, who knows where the parents are, of black criminals. You know, the argument is so often, our poor child was committing violent crimes and resisting arrest and acting like a hooligan terrorist for no reason, but the police should have been nicer about it. And somehow we're supposed to take that logic seriously.
So when you look at this, right, the blame is not on any of these things that caused this stew. The creators of the stew, right, to bring the stew to the full of what they wanted and what they envisioned. None of that's being blamed on the engineering that we looked at with the movies, to taking the father out the house, pushing heavy sex, drugs, crime, elevating, like, you know, I remember Bigger and Blacker, the stand-up that Chris Rock did, where he talked about, listen, we value criminals more than we do educated people, right? Yo, my man Mookie just got out of jail. Yo, my man, my Negro.
Right.
Yo, I just graduated, got my master's. What, you think you my master now? Right? But that was all engineered into the pot, and because we're weak, simple-minded, will not deal with wisdom that keeps us grounded, what happens? We suck it up like a sweet song. And all these things from the 60s, because I was a kid growing up in the 60s, right? Basketball clinics, sport places, after school programs, all these kids need something to do, and I grew up in the hood, right? None of these things worked then. And obviously, they never continued to work because it's a lot worse than it is now. Because I guarantee you, I promise you, me and my friends were growing up, 99% of them, if their parents, uncles, aunties, older cousins would have seen them in some teen takeover foolishness, oh, we would have got teen takeover. All right. We'd have got slapped, beat, to an inch of our lives, because people had some common sense. The engineering was not as prevalent and prominent and entrenched in the minds of the people at that time, right? That's the whole point. It didn't even have to be a cousin. It could be the old guy on the street that knew my father or mother that would grab me by the collar, slap me in the head, go, you better get your butt home, boy. What you doing? It wouldn't have been no teen takeover. That was all engineered over time, and the process by which that stew was created to have this great stew that when you look at is very distasteful, ugly, nasty, and something that you don't want to digest or eat, right? The people that you're blaming for this condition had nothing to do with that. They are the subjects of the consequence. I'm not going to say they're victims because they have a way out and they had a way to resist. But because of that curse that's on us for being disobedient to our God, our minds and we closed our eyes and ears to that wisdom. So he said, guess what? I created the eye and the ear. I know how they operate. You're going to continue to be blinded till you what? Submit to my understanding. That's what we read so far when we went to Jeremiah 11 and verse 11 specifically. And when we went to Deuteronomy 29, after he talked about the covenant blessings and the curses, and he said, look it, you don't even have the right mindset to this day because you ain't worthy of it. That continues to be the case of how we in Jeremiah 11 and Lamentation 5 and 7 have borne their iniquities. Why? Because we continue to do the same things over and over and over again. And we're looking for a different result, right? You had anything, Holder, you wanted to bring up, bro? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I sure do.
Go
I
ahead.
sure do, bro. Let me go to two scriptures if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Let me
go ahead.
first go to Leviticus chapter 19
Mhm.
and verse 17.
Right.
And it reads, Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. And the reason why I'm bringing that out is because what you brought out about people in the community. If you're a teenager and you are going out doing things you have no business doing, just troublesome things, you causing problems. Somebody in the community, it won't have to be your parents, but somebody in the community is going to snatch you up and it's going to
Right.
get you corrected on the spot,
That
right?
used to happen. That used to happen. Go ahead.
Right. That used to happen.
Right.
Exactly. It says that used to happen. I'm glad you emphasized that because that is the point. It used to happen. It says in Leviticus 19:17, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. What's the opposite? Hate is love. So it's telling you what the opposite is. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. That's love. That is love, to rebuke your neighbor and not suffer sin on him. To get these children corrected. That's love.
Right.
Right? So let me refer to another scripture to expound on what's going on right now.
Right.
Let's go to Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12. This is Jesus Christ talking, and he says, and because iniquity being wickedness, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So that correction that people would do, because of the iniquity, the wickedness, you go out and try to correct one of these teenagers, you might get a bullet in return. Right? You're showing them love. They don't understand it. And you try to go and correct one of these teenagers, you might have to deal with the parents now. They're going to come down and come on. What do you mean talking to my kid? Don't say nothing to my child. Right? Instead of appreciating what you're doing. That's the wickedness. That's the wickedness. You are correcting this child, attempting to spare his life, attempting to make his life better. They don't understand it. They're caught up in all kinds of wickedness. So now they're coming at you, giving you grief because of the righteousness that you're doing.
Right. So you look at like that clip was from Matt Walsh. He's a podcaster with the Daily Wire. And you look at these people, they come on there, oh, they intellectualize this thing, they got all the answers, but they never deal with how did it happen? How did it get there? And then they have a false narrative of even understanding of historical events and things that went on to cause these things. Like these people are the scourge of the earth and they just happen to be that, right? Because of the color of their skin. I don't know what they think. And this is where people get too damn emotional about this racism thing. As long as somebody's not harming me, right? I could give a damn what they think about me. I was taught to be that way in my life. As long as they're not harming me in any kind of way, physically, especially physically, right? What are you dealing with? Why are you getting so damn emotional about something? Everyone's not going to like you. And I don't give a damn about that. The only time I give a damn exactly. Only time I care if somebody dislike or is it something that I did evil in the eyes of God. That's it.
What did we hear when we were
That's the only
kids?
thing.
Sticks and stones how did the saying go?
Sticks and
A
stones
talk
might
would
break
never
my
hurt me,
bones. Right.
but talk would never hurt me.
Right.
Right? So that's what we're trained to do. So you could say whatever you want to say, just don't touch me.
Exactly.
Just don't touch me. It'll
Right.
be good.
Exactly. So why are we caught up in that? And if they don't want to deal with you and take your money because of whatever, don't deal with them. Find somebody else to deal with. Period. That's what we have to really get an understanding of. But we so caught up in this construct of race and racism, we get duped, and that causes us to close our eyes and close our ears for real right wisdom and the solution to these issues and things, right? So when you look at this, right, let's look at something else. Let's look at like this blame thing, right? So we look at kids can't read. Okay, so who's responsible for the educational system in this country? Who devised those systems?
The government.
Yeah. And then a lot of the control is in the hands of the people, the Jews that we're not supposed to talk about. They produced the books, they've changed and reread history, so on and so forth. Hell, Rockefeller was the start of the NEA, the National Teachers Association, whatever the hell that is, Educational Association, right? And he said some very disparaging things about he don't care about damn education or thinking. He just want individuals to be able to press that button to run his machines. That's it, right? These are all the things that go on in this corrupted, evil world that we're not even supposed to talk about. I'm an anti-Semite because I pointed that out, where when you look at all the social engineering, you look at all the science, you look at education houses, you look at all the different schemes and plots that have been put upon this people to destroy them, and mainly because our sorry behinds accepted them, right? Because we will refuse to deal with the Most High on his terms, just like our forefathers. So these curses are on us, right? When you point out that, yeah, it's satanic, but next in line is these people that you call the so-called Jews, God's people, because they're over all these things or very prominently in these things, right? But you become an anti-Semite because that's the propaganda, that's the brainwashing, that's the mindset that they set in this world that you're not supposed to see truly what it is. But we're supposed to be fighting each other. Now, I'm trying to figure out when you come up with these designations of black and white, why a European Jew is different than a white American. I'm trying to figure that out. Right? What's the distinction? Right?
Right.
So this is the thing, right? When you look at this, or what's the difference between a Russian and a so-called Jew? Right? Because when you really check the history, true history, right? Right? You check the true history, a lot of these people are not Japhetic. They're not Hamitic. They're Shemitic. That's it. Right? So now, when you look at, but no one wants to deal with Genesis 10. Right? You know, I always say that. But anyway, so looking at this, right, you see all these things. And now I'm going to go somewhere where people like to deal with it. We looked at how in Jeremiah 11:11, we keep doing the same thing our fathers did, and our minds are closed to it, according to Deuteronomy 29. Part of the curse is he's not going to give you the understanding, right? Christ said in Matthew 13, 14, and 15, you close your eyes and ears, and you've made yourself unavailable for this wisdom and understanding, right? And we know he controls the what? Eyes and ears. He made them according to Proverbs 12, 20, and 12, right? So let's go to Romans 11, because this is the verse where the supersessionists and the so-called New Jerusalem is the church twist these scriptures, and it's all talking about the same thing and the same people, all right? That's what it's talking about. I don't know. I just lost it, brother. So I'm going to go to Romans 11 real quick, and I'm going to read something. Romans 11, verse 1. I'll start there. It reads, I say then, hath God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So Paul is telling you that he is part of the family that was talked about and 2 in Jeremiah 11, from 1 through 11, what we read, Deuteronomy 29, from verses 1 through 4, where we read, he's dealing with that family of people, right? He is identifying in the New Testament in Romans 11 with that family of people saying that they have not, I repeat, they have not been put away, right? So they haven't been put away and they're still there, okay? Okay, I don't have you on screen, but I got you there. Something's going on. You're not on screen, though. Okay, he just disappeared. So now, I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. Telling who he's at. But what's the issue? He's going to tell you what the issue is with this family on earth. He's going to tell you what it is. He's going to tell you the issue is that this. What then is, this is Romans 11, verse 7. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. Wow. Don't that sound a lot like Deuteronomy 29, 1 through 4, verse 4 specifically? Don't it sound a lot like what Christ said, Isaiah said in Matthew 13, verse 14 to 15? What then? Israel have not obtained that which it seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded. I still can't see you on your camera, Ak. What then? Romans 11, verse 7. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. According as it is written, God hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. So now when you look at people trying to pervert this chapter to make it be something else and about somebody else and about the nations, they're lying, because it's consistent with what our problem has always been from the beginning, our disobedience to follow God, especially when it comes to straight commandments about easy and identifiable things to do, thus saith the Most High God. Let's deal with some of them. Let's deal with Raising Children 101. So now, we'll look at this thing right here. I want to look at another video. We're looking at this whole thing is going upside down, and look at what the result of this thing is about to be. Let's look at this.
2 so-called teen takeovers in 24 hours. A viral trend sweeping the nation with massive gatherings organized online and unleashed on unsuspecting communities coast to coast, often turning chaotic or violent. In Tampa, police body camera video shows massive fights amid a teen takeover earlier this month. Here, you see the mayhem from above. Authorities say 22 people were arrested as young as 12. Another brawl breaking out at this Chipotle in Washington, D.C. And outside Milwaukee, cars spinning out in this intersection.
So as you can see, these are not teen takeovers. These are, to be specific, black riots.
So the problem is black riots now, Josiah. You know, the problem is black riots, right? So that's the problem.
Right.
Now, we know it's a problem, but it's something that's been engineered and designed to be a problem. And the end is not yet, right? So we're lamenting and raving and crying about all these injustices. And we're crying and lamenting to the people that made the stew to produce you sucking up the stew and eating that garbage to be and deal with what you're seeing. The fatherless homes, because you decided to participate in programs that was very destructive. Like you said, the Trojan horse. You accepted welfare. This is our fault in this. We didn't devise the program. It was satanically devised. The social engineering, how they changed the movies and the propaganda to make, don't come to the hood if you ain't from the hood. No, Negro, you should be trying to get out of the hood. That's what I did, right? When we in the gangs, you in this click, 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 click.
Right.
That was all social engineering, right? And we're the fools because our eyes and ears are closed that suck this thing up. And now we look at the disaster and the ramifications, and you got people like Matt Walsh intellectualizing it. That is just, these black people, they doing this, and they this. And I don't deal with him as a racist. I think he's just an uneducated, think he's smart and intellectual fool because he doesn't understand why, or he doesn't care to, mainly because the people that hold his purse strings are a lot involved in this perpetration of the fraud of them being so-called God's people and a lot of the ills of society, just like all the other 111 or how many other countries they've been kicked out of before them, right? But he's on their payroll, so I don't expect much for him.
Causing
Everyone
confusion.
depicted in
the United States.
Say that again?
He's causing confusion.
Exactly.
You know, all this stuff. You know, Satan's, one of his main devices is confusion.
Right.
So you got and confusion comes by lies. It comes by keeping you from actually seeing what's really going on.
Right.
So in war, sometimes they would throw out smoke bombs and so forth just to cause confusion, so you can't clearly see what's going on.
Mhm.
Right. So that's what this is. You know, it's a smoke screen.
Right.
You know, you can't clearly determine what's going on. And Matt Walsh's not the only one.
Right.
And it's not his message is not the only message. There's plenty of messages out there that are causing confusion.
Right.
You know, so.
Okay, so let's look at this, though, because it goes into something else. Let's check this out.
Takeovers is black. Every single one of them is committing a crime. They're engaging in a public and violent disturbance. White people are not involved in this. And therefore, teen takeover is a deliberately misleading term, which is designed to confuse people about what is actually happening.
And as we grapple with this problem, there is one area that hasn't been discussed. Parental involvement has been a noted gap in any discussion. And I am here to say, as the United States Attorney in the District of Columbia, that ends today. Starting today, my office will aggressively prosecute parents under D.C.'s curfew law, and the specific statute that we will use is a violation of D.C. Code 22-811, and it involves contributing to the delinquency of a minor. This statute makes it unlawful for an adult to enable, facilitate, or permit a minor to engage in delinquent acts. The penalty is up to 6 months imprisonment. So if the evidence shows the parent knew, or should have known, or permitted, or failed to prevent participation, we're going to charge them. And if you drop your kid off and you fail to supervise them, or you let them skip school to join the chaos, you are going to face fines, court-ordered classes, and possible jail.
So you see how the madness it increases and it spirals for a community into what the garbage.
Right.
Because
Here's
in the
another
60s, they also started engineering that the authority of parents in the house was child abuse, right? They started doing things to say that, you know, if you deal with your kid with the authority and corporal punishment, so on and so forth, even in a lot of cases, it was not illegal on the books, but they couched it that what? Oh, you know, you're dealing with child protective. They're gonna send a bunch of ladies to your house to investigate you and this and that because you can't beat your kids, right? That's the foolishness. Now look at what it's done evolved to. You take the authority from the parents, you put them in distress situations in project housings, apartment buildings, crowded on top of each other, all a social experiment back in the 60s, right? You do all this social engineering propaganda madness to dilute and pollute them and destroy them. And this is what it is. Satan's gonna do what it's due. So I'm not even looking at so-called black people as the victims in this. You're not a victim, you're conquered, right? You've been overrun and overcome by Satan, no different than this country is being occupied by people that came from across the sea. And a lot of our people were here already, and they say, no, this is my country. Why? Because they were conquered. Spiritually, you're conquered through the what? Will of Satan, because you're doing his bidding and his will. That's why you suffer the things you suffer. So now, all of a sudden, you do all those things, and now the parents, now a lot of them are single mothers, right? If they got a job, they try to make ends meet, raise kids, do something that's almost impossible for them to do, especially if they got women with men children, right? You're doing all this stuff, And you sisters out there that's half doing a job, you still would be better if you had a man somewhere in there in the mix. So don't give me the pride thing. There's a lot of sisters in the community will start, I did a good job with my sons, right? So all these things, right, pile up, and the end result is going to be, if your kids are out of control, we're going to arrest you now, parents. Even though we made the stew, right, to produce this thing that came out of this stew, right? We did it all. Now you're going to suffer even more because of you accepted it, right? It's not a happenstance, bro. All these things are by what? That's why they say social engineering, right? It's by design. We know it's the ordinance of Satan. That's what they're following. They can put whatever psychology, psychiatry, urban development, or whatever damn thing they want to put on it. It's all evil because it's not going back to James the 3rd chapter, verse 16, the wisdom from above and what the fruits of it is, right? Only destruction and evil have came out of these designs. So now let's look at something, right? Since we're on the topic of raising children, the instruction and the blueprint, like the song said, has never changed. It's very simple. Let's look at some of the things that the Most High said through his wisdom, right? Let's go to Proverbs 22 and 6. Let's read that. Let's read that. And I'm getting ready to wrap this up, and I'm going to turn it over to you in a little bit. Proverbs, we're going to wrap it up with the solution, because it's still not too late to deal with this.
No, it's not. Right.
It can be dealt with, because we wouldn't be here if it was too late, would we?
No.
If it was too late for us, we wouldn't be here. Go ahead.
Right. But realistically, by some of the prophecies that we see in the scriptures, we understand that it's going to be some individuals that's going to get it.
Right.
Exactly. Our nation as a whole is not going to get it.
Exactly. Because they continue to close their eyes and ears that they might be healed. They don't want to be healed.
Right.
Right? They want to continue in the madness and swear that's living, when it's a cursed condition, as this world is cursed with the prominence of understanding of how to run a world based on Satan, right? So now when we look at this, right, read Proverbs 22 and 6, something real simple. What's that?
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So the scriptures tell us that we're supposed to do what? Train children in the way that they should go. Now, coming out of the Bible, it shouldn't be the way that they should go according to. I grew up around some families that taught their kids how to go to stores and steal and boost.
Yes.
That's not the way you train it.
That's right.
I know of people that raise their children to sell drugs, right? I've grown up around children that have been raised to hustle and do the wrong things. I was raised to get a job, be a decent citizen, right? And mind my business, right? Now, all these things are, what's going on. But when it says here, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. What is the Bible's understanding of the way he should go? Go to Deuteronomy 6. This is Raising a Child 101. What is the Bible's understanding of the way he should go? Deuteronomy 6, read verse 6 and 7, please.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
So now, the way he should go is based on the will of the Most High God. That's the way you're supposed to train your children. But a lot of people in the world now, they have to learn that. They have to learn it themselves, and as they set the example and learn, they have to teach it to the ones that's under them and coming behind them. This is the point. And it's not too late, right? Because we've seen these things turn around in our time in the ministry, right? Even with ourselves and the things we had to deal with. We weren't children when we came in, but it was a lot of folly that we had to learn and understand to get to the point where we could clearly guide younger folks and children, right? It's up to them to open their eyes and open their ears so that they might hear and be healed. That's the whole other side of the coin. That's why I'm saying you're not victims, because you do have control over your existence by what you receive to hear and do. Thus saith the Lord, period. So now, when you're dealing with this, is there supposed to be discipline? Yes, there is. Why? Let's go to Proverbs 22 and 15. I'm just giving like 4 or 5 scriptures on raising a child 101. Train him in the way he should go. What's the way he should go? Based on the will of the Most High, his ordinances, his commandments, his statutes, right? Should there be discipline? Yeah, you're going to have to discipline. Why? Because Proverbs 22 and 15 tells us. Read that.
This is Proverbs chapter 22, verse 15.
Mhm.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
So now in modern times, they make the rod of correction seem like it's a UFC, MMA, damn battle royale, right? Like you just giving elbows and grounding and pounding your kids. No. You supposed to discipline your children. Why? Because they have folly. It tells us right here, according to the will of the Most High, foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. So what is a child going to be married to from his existence, from the time he's born to the time he gets a little more control and discipline of himself? It's going to be folly. That's just what it is. It says foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but it's not the end. Why? Because the rod of correction shall drive it far from him. Go to Proverbs 13 real quick. Read 12 and 14, 12 through 14.
Proverbs 13?
Yep, 12 through 14.
Okay, before I read that, let me just read another Proverbs 24 and 9.
Okay.
The thought of foolishness is sin, and the
Right.
scorner is an abomination to men. So we're talking about foolishness. Said foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. What is that? Foolishness is sin.
Mm.
Okay, Proverbs chapter 13,
No, I'm
verse
sorry.
12.
23 and 12. I'm sorry. I said 13. 23.
Okay, 20,
Mhm.
Proverbs chapter 23 and 12. Apply thine heart unto instruction, and thine ears to the words of knowledge. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou
So,
shalt beat him with the rod,
go
and
ahead.
shall deliver his soul from hell.
Exactly. So this is the whole point of what you're doing. And look at all of this is based on what verse 12 just said, where you read. Applying thine heart unto instruction and thy ears to the words of knowledge. The words of knowledge, not of college, not of social engineers, not of pseudosciences and the mind bending drugs and MK Ultra and all the other evil, wicked foolishness that they've done to push society their way. But the knowledge we supposed to incline to and the instructions we supposed to follow is the will of the Most High. And what is the Most High saying? You're gonna have to correct your children because they are full of folly, right? You don't excuse ill behavior. You deal with it. Does it always mean that you're gonna be beating on them? No. Sometimes you will. Sometimes you're gonna restrict. Sometimes you're gonna take. Sometimes you're gonna give a firm talking to, right? It's the whole gambit of what the scriptures tell you. It says, withhold not correction from a child because you said that. What is that? That's not love. That's hatred.
Right.
Because the scriptures told us that was hatred. We're supposed to correct and rebuke to keep people on the right, straight, and narrow. Leviticus 19 tells us if we're not doing that, we're hating our brother. Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die. Thou shalt beat him with the rod and shalt deliver his soul from hell. Sometimes I was one of those children, and I'm very thankful for it, that my parents didn't take no shorts, and some of my aunties and uncles, and even some of my older cousins kind of got me straight. When I needed it, I got it. I escaped a lot I probably should have got because I was clever enough to avoid it. But when I got caught, I got what was justifiably needed for that situation. That was it. And I'm better for it because what do you first understand? You start to develop an understanding of boundaries. the go, no-go areas, the do's and the not do's or don'ts, right?
You understand there's consequences for your ill behavior.
There you go. Thank you. That's even better. Better said. So these are the things that we have to deal with, right? And why is it so important? Let's go to Ephesians 6. And then I got one more place I want to go, and I'm going to turn it over to you. Ephesians 6, real quick. Why is this so important that we understand this? Why we can avoid teen takeovers if we just deal with the understanding and the wisdom and instruction of the Most High God. Read Ephesians 6, 1 through 4, please.
Okay, this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right.
Stop. In the Lord. Not the one that's
Thank
teaching you how to sell crack or do something evil or teaching you
Right.
some kind of sinful thing. You don't obey that.
Don't obey it.
Right.
Right.
Only the ones that's dealing right according to thus saith the Lord. That's what you obey. What is thus saith the Lord, that's what you obey. Now, respect is one thing, right? But them telling you to do something that you know damn well is evil or wicked or sinful is a whole other thing, right? So read that again, bro.
Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord.
So this is our duty, right? The children have a responsibility to obey the parents that's putting it down in the Lord. You have a responsibility to hold them to that. But it's just not about beating the hell out of them and making no sense out of it. Just open up a can of you know what on them. It's talking about the nurture and admonition of the Lord. It's both. You build them up in that understanding. You help them see the right thing to do. You help them understand the error of their ways. Through constructive understanding of the scriptures, discipline, sometimes what? Corporal punishment is called for when it's called for, but it's a whole rounded approach based on the wisdom of the scriptures, and that's it. What's going on in this world? It's like when I see people tell me, oh, I don't whoop my kids, I'm going, well, you're setting your kids up for disaster. If they need a whooping, you need to give them one. Period. That's it. Blank, point blank. That's all. That's not nothing to do with it. I'm a granddad, and kids know. They even identify my instrument of choice. It's called the Demon Slayer / the Universal Translator. Right? It's a strap that I've had in my possession for over 30-something years. And I'm working on the third generation now, right? With that strap. And they all know, I need to go get Demon Slayer. They know what I'm talking about. Oh, you know what? You might need the Universal Translator because this is about the fourth time I done said something about this, right? And all the kids around me know what it is, right? That's love. That is not archaic. That is not evil. And you know what? I don't worry about it because I know I've been in law enforcement. I know what you can and cannot do, and I know what you can tell me what I can and cannot do, right? Never had that issue. I've had conversations about it with people from these color of law places that try to act like they got authority that they don't. But when you confident in the understanding and the will and power of the Lord, you don't have to worry about none of that stuff. You do what he tells you to do, period, right? That's the thing. And my track record with the kids that I deal with and how they see me is a very good track record. We talked about one, right? When I told you I got that surprise call, just thanking me, right?
Right, exactly.
For one of my godsons, you know what I'm saying? Thanking me for what I did for him, period. Now, let's do it. I'm going to close out here. Let's go to Proverbs 1 real quick. This is an issue, that we need to deal with. And this is why, and this is what we have to return to, right? So, Proverbs 1, start at verse 23.
Proverbs chapter 1, verse 23. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you.
So now, whoa. If we choose to open our eyes and open our ears, he's going to give us the ability to what? Discern and understand and deal with our minds with his word. He's going to do it and take us off punishment, if you will. All we got to do is what? Humble, repent, and turn to him, and everything will be okay. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Even in this wicked, perverted world, like you look at Job and the things that he suffered and he went through, he was righteous. He got to where he needed to get to in the end. And then guess what? Even in that, all those calamities, it was given back and restored to him, what, 4 or 5 fold or something it says, right? In the
Right.
scriptures.
Right.
This is what the Most High is showing us when you deal with his word his way, not your way or your mindset. So read that again, Proverbs 123, please.
Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Because I have called and you refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But you set at naught all my counsel and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mark when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. For they that hateth knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord, they would none of my counsel, they despised all my reproof.
So stop. That's why we're where we're at right now. We got to turn that around. And that's what we have to understand, right? So we have to deal with this because we the ones that decided to do this, to tell the Most High to kiss our behinds. And then we continued in the pattern of our forefathers that did the same thing. And I do believe we got a lot worse, right? We closed our eyes and our ears from hearing his word and his reproof and his counsel to even keep it. And our Hebrew brothers that's out there talk about the white man's the devil, you need to stop. You the devil. Because you're not dealing with the understanding of this thing has to be turned around by something that we have to do within ourselves, right? Starting with the individual and then what? Flowing through the people that you connected to and you touch, right? That's what we have to do because we're the reason that we're suffering these things because of what we've done, right? So now jump down and just read verse 33, and I'm gonna end it right there. Proverbs 1,
Proverbs
33.
chapter 1, verse 33.
Mm-hmm.
But whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear of evil.
So now, when we decide to turn to the Most High and deal with Him right, let me tell you something. You know my mindset a lot of times, Josiah. But I'll ask you this question: do you sit at home worried about somebody coming to get you, cops breaking your door, kicking it down, or the racists coming to your house, dragging you and hanging you on a noose, or getting stopped by the cops and getting beat down? Do you sit up and worry about those things?
No, I don't sit up and worry about them. I've thought about those things, but the thing that I'm most concerned about is my conduct.
There you go. Because that says, but whosoever hearkens unto me shall dwell safely and shall be quiet from fear of evil.
Exactly.
So you can control that based on you controlling your conduct.
Exactly.
Right? That's peace. I'm the same way. I don't worry about none of that stuff. And if it is happening, the first thing I'm going to is like, what did I do? You understand?
Yeah,
I'm like, yo, what did I do to bring this out? Because I'm chilling and I've been chilling.
Right. Yeah, but you know what we like to do if we have an interaction with someone, we can't stand to be disrespected. Anything that we perceive to be oh no, that's got to be met with fierce anger and vitriol, whatever, because you're gonna respect me. We can't stand to be disrespected. Listen, the
Exactly.
scripture teaches us to be humble. The scriptures teach us not to strive with any man. Don't strive. A servant of the Lord must not strive. Right.
Exactly. Right.
So if you're doing what the scripture says to do, you avoid a ton of trouble.
Right.
A ton of trouble. And this is the thing. This in Galatians it talks about the fruits of the spirit. One of those fruits is peace.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Right.
So you're gonna have peace and joy.
Right.
You're gonna have joy,
Right.
because you don't have all the trouble that other people have.
Exactly. That's the whole point. So you can take it if you want to bring out another scripture, and we'll end it right there, bro.
Bro, this has been very thorough.
Okay.
So
All
all I got
praises.
to do is something that's going to be redundant. I would like to bring out something that might be just a tad bit new for this program, not so redundant, and just a tad bit, right? And what that is this whole thing about people seeking solutions,
Mm.
right? So at one time, our folks, 200, 300 years ago in slavery. So the solution is, hey, let's escape, let's rebel against the master, whatever. You're trying to relieve yourself of the oppression, right?
Mm.
But then after the emancipation, things looked different, of course. But some things were actually worse for people immediately afterwards because you were emancipated, but you were emancipated without anything. You had nothing. You had no
Right.
food, no water, no property, no nothing. So
Mhm.
now you're scrounging around trying to make it. So it's you went from a bad situation to a worse situation, like immediately afterwards.
Right.
But over time, of course, that improved. Um, but now, fast forward all those many years to today, something's going wrong in your family, something's going on in your community, whatever it is, whether it's like some type of disease that's going around, whether it's some type of crime that's going around, ignorance, a lack of education, whatever the situation is, we have a prevailing thought. Somebody ought to do something about this.
Mhm.
The government should do something about this. We always look into somebody else, somebody outside of us to do something,
Mhm.
right? And we're looking to the government. It's like the government has been made an idol.
Mm.
We're worshiping the doggone government. Everything, we're afraid of the government, and then we go to the government to get resources.
Mhm.
When it comes down to healthcare, the government ought to provide. You know, who's the government? What
Right.
are they? The government is only an entity that the Most High God has set up.
Mm.
If he's setting it up and the government don't even act right, we all know that. If you pay attention, if you're an adult and you pay attention, you know the government does not act right. They
Mm.
do not behave themselves. They are
Mhm.
corrupt. The government is corrupt. And you're going to go into a corrupt government to get aid and
Mm.
assistance and you think it's
Mhm.
going to be okay?
Mm.
No, there's always a catch to it. It's the Trojan horse thing, right? So where are you supposed to go? You're supposed to go to the one who is above the government.
Mm.
That's where you can get the true relief. Someone who's not playing games with you.
Mm.
Someone who's not trying to trick you into doing something. Someone
Mm.
who's not sending you Trojan horses of help.
Mhm.
That's where you're supposed to go. So I want to go to Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 1.
Mm.
It reads, Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy that it cannot hear.
Mm.
So, this is redundant. You've already brought this out, right?
Mhm.
But I want to expound on this just a little bit. Here's the Most High God having all the power
Mhm.
that you could ever imagine. He knows every single thing that's going on,
Mhm.
right? But instead of going to him and asking him, what do I need to do to get relief? You go to the government.
Mm.
You go to the government. You're saying we know we need to go vote. We need to vote this way and all that stuff. We need to vote him out of office and him in office. It's
Mm.
still another man that has a heart, just like every one of us is. The man has a wicked heart, but you're
Mhm.
going to put him in there, right? So Isaiah 59 and verse 2. Why is this happening to us? Because it says, but your iniquities have separated
Mm.
between you and your God, and your
Mhm.
sins have hid his face from you that
Mhm.
he would not hear. He's
Mm.
not trying to hear it because you are intent on doing whatever it is that occurs to you that you want to do, whatever you think is going to be satisfying.
Mm.
Whatever sin, whatever thing that is against the word of the Lord that you want to do, you're going to do it,
Mm.
right? So that's wickedness. That's
Mm.
that's iniquity,
Mm.
and the Lord is not going to hear you for that. So now the whole purpose of this thing is about training up your children.
Mm.
Don't look to the government to train your children. Don't look to the government to have teachers and so forth that's going to teach your children. That's going to cause them to have good moral conduct and so forth.
Mm.
You've got to do that, and you start doing that by first creating an environment where they can be nurtured.
Mm.
And that environment is a man and a woman first coming together in marriage.
Mm-hmm.
The old saying goes, first come love, then comes marriage, then comes mama with the baby carriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to do it in order, the order it's supposed to be. You don't go out, and start having babies and then start looking for a man to get married to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go out as a man, go out and start creating all these children, then finally look for a woman you can settle down with. No,
Mm-hmm.
you first get your stuff together,
Mm-hmm.
obeying God. Then you find a woman that's doing the same thing. Then you get those children and you raise them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord. That's
Yeah,
the way you.
that's it.
That's the way you. That's the beginning. This is the
Mm-hmm.
foundation for training up a child in the way they should go.
Because we see the results of doing it the other way or other
Yes.
ways, right?
Yes.
So that we're living them. Yeah. Having said
But
that, let's give all praises to the Most High through His Christ for understanding that we come out and we hear, hope our people Israel hear these words of encouragement and guidance and repent and follow not man, but follow our God who art in heaven through His Son Christ. With that, for my brother Josiah, I'm going to say shalom.
Shalom.
God's blueprint for raising children. God's blueprint for raising children. In a world that's losing sight of the truth that shines so bright, God has given us a way to guide our children day by day, not by wisdom of our own, but by His word alone. A path of truth, a path of grace, to lead our children in His ways. Train up a child in the way he should go, teach them the truth they need to know. With love and mercy, truth and light, God's wisdom lead them all aright. When the home is built on His command, our children grow secure and stand strong in faith, firm in love, raised by the wisdom from above. His word must dwell within the home, through every day and every moment shown. In walking, talking, all we do, we teach our children what is true. The home's the first and sacred school, where parents lead by heaven's rule. With hearts that teach and lives that bless, we guide them in His righteousness. Train up a child in the way he should go, teach them the truth they need to know. With love and mercy, truth and light, God's wisdom leads them all aright. When the home is built on His command, our children grow secure and stand strong in faith, firm in love, raised by the wisdom from above. Discipline is not disgrace, it's love that moves at mercy's pace. For correction, firm and true, protects the hearts we're guiding through. A child left free to live alone will stray from truth and lose their home. But love and discipline will show the wisdom children need to know. There is a wisdom from above, full of peace and grace and love. And earthly wisdom leads astray, with strife and confusion in its way. So many voices call out loud, but not all wisdom leads the proud. Only truth that comes from God can keep our children on the right road. Return to God's own plan, back to the Maker's perfect hand. With humble hearts and faithful eyes, we build our homes on holy lies. No holy truth that will not fade. The word of God is still our aid. Repent, restore, rebuild, renew. The Lord will help His people through. Train up a child in the way he should go, teach them the truth they need to know. With love and mercy, truth and light, God's wisdom leads them all aright. When the home is built on His command, our children grow secure and stand strong in faith, firm in love, raised by the wisdom from above. God's blueprint still has not changed, His truth remains, His word remains. When families walk in His pure light, He turns confusion into right. So let the home return once more, to fear the Lord and honor Him forevermore.